Today, we're going to dig into something that honestly shapes every single relationship in our lives: how we communicate. We're going to break down the big ones: passive, aggressive, and that ideal sweet spot we're all trying to hit: being assertive. So let's just start with a quick gut check. When a tricky conversation pops up, what's your go-to move? I mean, are you kind of the doormat, the person who'd rather get walked all over than cause a scene? Or are you the bulldozer, just plowing ahead to make sure you get your way no matter what? Most of us have a default setting in those tense moments. So let's start right there by exploring those two most common extremes: passive versus aggressive behavior. When you really boil it all down, these two styles are driven by completely opposite goals. The passive person, their main focus is just don't get hurt. They'll pretty much give up whatever they need just to keep things smooth. But the aggressive person, they're focused on one thing, and one thing only: winning. It's all about putting their needs first, even if it means running right over somebody else. So let's take a closer look at that passive style. It's so much more than just being quiet, right? It's that deep down fear of saying no. It's feeling kind of guilty for even having needs in the first place. And you see it come out as this sense of helplessness, or being super apologetic all the time, or just avoiding taking responsibility. And here's the kicker: that fear makes it almost impossible to ask for help. Okay, now let's flip the coin completely. Aggressive behavior. This is where asking pretty much goes out the window and demanding takes over. It's a whole pattern of blaming other people, acting arrogant, and having basically zero patience for anyone else's opinion. And it's all driven by that need to win. But you know what's fascinating? Just like the passive person, they absolutely will not ask for help, but for the total opposite reason. They're terrified it'll make them look weak. But here's the thing. It's not always so simple, is it? Sometimes these styles get all mixed up into something way more subtle, way more confusing. And that brings us to what I call the passive-aggressive trap. So what on earth is passive-aggressive behavior, really? It might be the most frustrating one of all because it's so indirect. I mean, the entire point is to make somebody else feel bad, but to do it in such a sneaky way that you can always say, me? I didn't do anything. It's all about avoiding responsibility. This quote just nails it. It's the core strategy right there. It's about getting what you want or showing you're upset without ever having to be upfront about it. Honestly, it's basically an attack disguised as, well, anything else. And you can totally spot this behavior out in the wild. You know what I mean? That cynicism that's just dripping with hostility, the constant sarcasm, the person who is always complaining, always the victim, and is always resentful of somebody else. It can get really manipulative too, like when someone purposely does a bad job on a task so they can just throw their hands up and say, hey, it's not my fault it failed. Okay, wow. The doormat, the bulldozer, the hidden trap, it's all pretty draining, isn't it? Well, here's the good news. There is a much healthier and, frankly, a much more effective way to operate. It's time to find that assertive balance. This right here, this is the goal. And we need to be crystal clear about something. Being assertive is not the same as being aggressive. Not even close. It's all about standing up for your own rights and needs, but, and this is the absolute key, doing it in a way that fully respects the rights and needs of the other person. It's not a me versus you showdown. It's more like, how do we both win? So what does this actually look like in real life? Well, assertive people are confident, sure, but they're also collaborative. They're the kind of people who genuinely get excited about other people's success. They actually want feedback, they own up to their mistakes, and they say what they mean, but they also really listen. And unlike the other styles, they're strong enough to ask for help when they need it. I just love this quote because it gets right to the heart of it. Let's be honest. Being passive, that's easy. And sometimes being aggressive can feel easy too. But being assertive, that takes real courage. It's about making a choice to do what's right, not just what's comfortable. All right, so we've got these 4 styles on the table: passive, aggressive, passive-aggressive, and assertive. But what's the one common thread that ties them all together? Well, there's a single powerful idea that unlocks this whole puzzle, and it all comes down to respect. I mean, what's that one variable that actually determines whether you're going to act like a doormat or a bulldozer or that balanced collaborative person? The answer is, well, it's way simpler and way more powerful than you probably think.
And here it is. It all comes down to this simple balance: respect for yourself and respect for other people. Just think about it for a second. High respect for yourself, but low respect for others. Bam, that's aggressive. Low respect for yourself, but you put everybody else first. That's passive. And what about that really damaging mix? Low respect for yourself and for other people? Yep, that's the passive-aggressive trap. And that leaves us with that beautiful, effective sweet spot: assertiveness. And where does that come from? High respect for yourself and high respect for others. It all just clicks, doesn't it?
So really, if you take away just one theme from all of this, let it be this. Good, effective communication isn't about having the cleverest lines. It's built on a foundation of respect. Finding that balance where you value yourself and others equally, that's the secret to better relationships everywhere in your life. So let's leave you with one final thought. Now that you have this framework, this respect compass, let's call it, think about your last few interactions, at work, at home. When things got a little tense, which way was your compass pointing? And maybe more importantly, where do you want to point it tomorrow?